Hello, everyone. I want to welcome you to this Dubli webcast. This is a special webcast, and this morning we've got Alex Petrolak on our call with us. And Alex is the CMO of the Dubli Partner Program. And what we wanted to do is I really wanted to bring Alex on and really kind of give us an update about the partner program, some of the successes that we're having, talk about some of the future aspects of the program. We were just talking about a few things before we started the webcast. And I can tell you from my perspective, I believe this is the most significant program that Dubli has, and I'm really excited to introduce Alex to everybody because he's just been a tremendous help to me. He really knows his stuff, and we're really fortunate to have Alex heading up the partner program. So, Alex, how are you doing this morning?
I am doing well. How are you doing, Alan?
I'm doing great, thank you, sir. I'm really excited about 2014. So, Alex, why don't you tell us a little bit about your background and really kind of how you came to be part of the Dubli program?
Sure, we'll be glad to, Alan. Alan, just for my information, are a lot of the people we're speaking with today, are they familiar with the conversation we had about a month and a half ago, or is this entirely new people?
No, well, there are about 10 different names on here I've never seen before, but I think most people have either probably seen a video of that call. So I think most people are familiar with this call.
Okay, good. Well, for anybody who's had to hear me before, I'm sorry you're going to have to hear me again. But congratulations on a great 2013, and for those of you who are coming on board now, and for everybody here, a fantastic 2014, and Happy New Year to you. It's really easy to say that we're anticipating an incredible breakout year, but our entire corporate management team is absolutely positively thrilled to death with where we are with the partner program particularly. For those of you who have heard this before, I'm just going to make this brief. The partner program is an incredible tool, as I'm sure Alan will go into greater detail about, for two things: building your personal ongoing wealth, which of course is incredibly important to all of us, and then also for the building of your organization. It's very, very important when we're building organizations to have a very, very sophisticated but simple product that we can point to and say, this is what we represent. At the end of the day, this is what we talk about. And that's how we recruit people and recruit quality people. And I think that the partner program serves that purpose for you. So I look forward to working with all of you in the future on the partner program. As far as my background goes, Alan, I started off in the financial industries area with Merrill Lynch, Southmark Financial. I was with a real estate developer called the Paragon Group for several years. Left them and went on with Price Waterhouse as the national marketing director for PW in New York and in Tampa, as a matter of fact. Ran a boutique strategic planning consulting group with me and a couple of partners from Britain over the last several years, and then came on board with Dubli about 14 months ago after I had an opportunity to look at their business plan and absolutely saw the longevity of it and asked if I could participate on an ongoing basis. So here I am. Alan, what would you like for me to cover now that I've gone through all of that?
Well, are there any, I know we've talked about the Red Cross in the past, but are there any other major nonprofits that you can announce at this time, or do you want to hold off a little bit?
Well, we never actually announce unless the nonprofit or the for-profit announce themselves. It's their proprietary information. We co-brand the site, so I'm pretty reluctant, as you know. I'm very careful not to do that. But I will tell you this, without also going into numbers, which we also don't do. Literally, Alan, since we spoke last month, hundreds of partners have come on board, have registered. So the program is absolutely a resounding success. We have a global footprint, which makes the program and the product offering even more interesting. Even if a customer doesn't use the global footprint, has no need to, for them to know that we are in Italy or in India is actually quite fascinating. And when it comes to e-commerce being a global product, it's important for people to know that we're a global company, which we are. So we have gotten partners, nonprofit and for-profit, from literally every corner of the world. The United States is really opening up. We've had a number, thanks to you actually, Alan, of very large partner opportunities come along that see the benefit of this program, not just in terms of revenue to them, but in terms of stronger branding with their clientele, which I'm sure you'll go into in greater detail with your group here, Alan. But it's been an incredible last quarter of 2013, so we have every reason to believe that 2014 is just going to be a sprint.
You know, Alex, it's interesting. I'll give a quick little story, and then I want to ask you a couple other questions. For those of you who have not really either delved into the partner program or you haven't talked to any nonprofits, to me, this is the strongest suit of the business. I mean, it's really just amazing, and it really is such a simple process for anybody to understand. Matter of fact, I was working with a big hospital. We'll talk about this not today, but at a later time. I was working with a big hospital up in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and it's a nonprofit. And I was doing a presentation, Alex, and about 12 minutes into the presentation, I had Jennifer, who was the president of the foundation, and that was, that's the wing of the hospital that does all the fundraising, so that's probably one of the most important aspects of the hospital program itself. And so I was doing this, and I also had the vice president of the human resources department in there, Brad, and about 12 minutes into my presentation, and this was before the app was out, and the app makes it so much easier to present this to any organization. Anyway, I was 12 minutes into the presentation, and Jennifer just interrupts me, and she says, well, Alan, everybody's going to want to do this. I just said, well, Jennifer, I think you're right. I think everybody will want to do this. And then Brad immediately butts in, and he says, well, Alan, we want exclusivity in Chattanooga. And so I kind of looked at Brad and I said, well, Brad, listen, I can't give you exclusivity in Chattanooga. And he said, well, we don't want our competitor hospital in Chattanooga to do this. And I said, Brad, look, I can't give you exclusivity, but I'll go you one better. I said, I know that you know all the executives over there at the other hospital, and y'all are in trade associations and whatnot. And he said, oh, sure, we know all of them. I said, well, why don't you introduce me to them and introduce the concept, and I'll go over and I'll do a presentation with them. And if they decide that they want to do this as a fundraiser for their hospital, we'll put them under your hospital, and then you'll make a 5% override on everything that they do. Well, Brad looks at Jennifer, and Jennifer looks back at Brad, and they just start smiling. And they said, okay, we can live with that. And then Jennifer immediately says, well, Alan, how many organizations in Chattanooga know about this? And I said, to my knowledge, none. I said, we brought it to you because of our relationship with Gene. And the point of the story is that once you present this, and it's so much easier, Alex, now with the app. You just show them what's going on, and they see that people are getting paid to do what they were going to do anyway. And not only are they getting paid as a consumer to buy what they were going to buy, to take all the same trips they were going to take, fly the same airlines, stay at the same hotels, etc., but also what happens is their organization is going to earn a 30% commission on everything, all of the cash back that's paid, the free cash back that's paid to their supporters, their donors, their parents, the members, whatever they happen to be, even their employees. As a matter of fact, the hospital up in Chattanooga, Alex, one of the things that they said to me, they said, well, Alan, we see this as a great benefit to all of our employees, and we want to get it out to all the employees. And so it's really, I've not had any resistance from anybody. People have questions, and that's understandable, but I have never seen a program that just creates such a win-win situation for everybody, including the merchants. I mean, everybody's winning. And kind of with that, Alex, are there any stumbling blocks, common stumbling blocks that you see some of the BAs out there in the field every now and then making a mistake, or are there any issues that come up that we need to deal with and know how to deal with them?
Well, yeah, I mean, Alan, every time that we close a deal, we find that we've overcome a new challenge, but the challenges really aren't to the program or anything like that. The challenge is in the customer understanding exactly what they're getting, and also that there's no string attached. They're always looking for a catch, and we're we've taken a very complicated market, which is global, and a very complicated industry within that global market, which is e-commerce, and we've taken an equally sophisticated market, which is the buying public, and we've provided all of this into a partner program format that's also very complicated and sophisticated, but we've made it simple for everybody, except ourselves. We're the ones that developed it, and we're the ones that have to do the heavy lifting. But everybody always looks for where's the hidden agenda, and there very simply is none. And Alan, I would really encourage you to explain to your sales group that there is no hidden agenda. It's as straightforward as what they see in their back offices and in the Dubli Partner Program site. The thing that I like about this program, when you talk to salespeople, being the net, our group, is this: when you sell something, there's nothing that you hate more than a wasted appointment. And if you're a bandage salesperson, the only people that are going to buy your bandages are people who need bandages, and that's a very limited population. So a lot of times you go into an appointment and you just don't know if it's going to be productive. But when we go into our appointments, it's almost always productive. Everybody is applicable, and this is the important thing. Big companies, small companies, for-profit, not-for-profit, churches, schools, everybody, because everybody benefits, as you said. And nobody's excluded. So not only do we work in a global footprint market, but our product is applicable to anybody that has a database of customers and is in any way computer oriented. So it's an unbelievable thing. Very rarely can somebody look you directly in the eyes and say, what you're offering has no bearing on my business, and I do not see how it will benefit me. I don't think I've heard that yet. So it's a really great thing when you're a seller to be able to go to each and every appointment and know that you'll be able to resonate with the customer. And the other thing that we find also is that there's definitely no wasted appointment, because when you go in and you present something this professional and you explain how sophisticated it is but how simple it is to actually use, people are going to want to know how you got involved with Dubli. And so your partner program call has now become a development call as well. That is just the outstanding, I think that's the outstanding feature to any seller in the program, is that absolutely nothing goes to waste.
Well, you know what, Alex, and just in that same vein, let me tell you a little quick story that happened. I've got a little church up in Chicago. And by the way, Alex, you speak about big organizations and you talk about small organizations. As you well know, you helped us get the Red Cross sponsored and doing this. And, of course, we knew that the Red Cross had a lot of stuff on their plate and had to work through that, and they're really just starting to implement this, even though we've had them signed up for, I guess, 3 months now. But that's a big organization. It's well known, probably one of the best known nonprofits anywhere in the world. We were very lucky to get them, but they see this, and I remember the reaction that Lou had when I first presented this to her. She almost came through the phone and said, "You get me the contracts on Monday. We're going to do this." Well, I was doing a presentation to a church up in Chicago, and they actually called me. They found one of my videos and called me and said, "Hey, we've been looking for a very unique fundraiser, and we're getting tired of asking people just to donate money out of their pocket, and we saw a video on this, and I found your name, and I'd like for you to explain this to me." So went through all that process. She came back the next day. She said, "Yeah, we want to do this." So the following Sunday, I did a presentation to the entire congregation after their service. And so they had me on a screen in front of the congregation and had the laptop up there hooked up to the mic system so they could all hear me. But the people had to come up to the computer in order for me to hear them properly. Well, there were 5 people that came up to ask a question about how to sign up as a VIP customer and all this and that. Well, 2 of the guys, Alex, now here we are presenting this to the church as a fundraiser for the church. Well, 2 of the guys that came up to the mic, they asked me point blank, "Alan, this is really interesting. Is there a business behind this? How do we make money with this?" And so I kind of had to say, well, look, and I didn't want to lie to them, but that wasn't why I was there. But right to your point about you create a situation where people want to know, well, how did you get involved with this? And 2 of the people in the congregation wanted to know if there was a way they could do this as a business. So I kind of had to sidestep that. But that's exactly what's happening. Matter of fact, when I did the hospital, Alex, one of the last meetings I did with them, the vice president of finance was in the back of the room. And so I was putting my equipment up after we'd finished the presentation, and I walked back to the back. And he says, he said, Alan, I'm an anal CPA. And when you start telling me that I can get cash back on everything that I was going to do anyway, he said, I'm all in. And he said, we've all been back here talking about this, and we're going to have to turn this over to the lawyers, and we never know what lawyers are going to do. But we've all decided that if for any reason the hospital decides not to do this, we're all going to sign up as VIP customers. And that really is a testament right there, in my opinion. That just speaks volumes about the simplicity and about the appeal to the average consumer. Because here they were executives at the hospital, and if the hospital decided not to do it, they weren't going to abandon their relationship with Dubli. They wanted to be a VIP customer. And I said, well, y'all just wait and let's get this hospital, because I want your purchases to benefit the hospital. So they all kind of waited, and we missed the Christmas season, unfortunately, but that was the hospital's fault. But the thing that really makes this work so well for everybody, of course, is the value that we present to the consumer. Because the bottom line is, I don't care if you're talking to the CEO one of the board members, or if you're talking to one of the administrators of the hospital or whatever organization it happens to be, the bottom line is they're all customers. They're all consumers. And so this is just an incredible product for anybody.
Well, that's right, Alan. I mean, the problem with your webinars is that there's no such thing as enough time. So I would never have enough time to address all the points that you just brought up. But they're all true. I'll try to be succinct with this. The thing that I think is most appealing is that we're solution sellers. We are not selling ink cartridges or juices. Those are all fine. We're selling solutions that you talk to CEOs, CFOs, CMOs, and other people about. You're creating a sense of awareness of their own brand and how to enhance their brand and help them make more money. So it's a very strategic sale. At the end of the day, though, their customers become more aware of that own brand by our involvement in through the co-branded site, which is very, very professional. And the bottom line is that most companies and nonprofits want their base of people, their contacts, their clients, to be successful and save money. And so this is obviously a program they want to present. And it presents well for them. It makes them look good. It makes them look like they're taking care of their employees or their donors or their customers. So this all just makes great sense. The thing that you had asked earlier, though, about what do we see in terms of mistakes, et cetera, not so much mistakes, Alan, as vision. And what I was discussing a little bit earlier is that everybody is applicable. And so when you're in the market, you don't have to look for the biggest or the smallest or the widest or the thinnest. All you need to look for is somebody who has a need to enhance their own brand through a co-branded site that actually makes their customers better buyers online doing what they already do anyway and receiving cash back for it. It's a very simple proposition. And once they get their head around the fact that it's simple, they become very intrigued with the concept, which is great. My rule is typically the 80-20 rule, and that is that on a personal basis, 80% of your money will be made with smaller and middle-sized companies in the first year, simply because it's the first year, it's 12 months. Larger companies, that natural desire of somebody to go and want to go and close IBM, we all want to do that, but most of your prospect list shouldn't consist of more than 15 or 20% of those type companies because very candidly, their sales cycle might exceed 6 months or 12 months. So to really get yourself underway, I think that you really want to focus on those people or groups with whom you already have relationships, your churches, your soccer clubs, your medical practices in your community, your local business development groups, Chamber of Commerce. That's where you go and find those people most immediately in need of this, and from there you build up. And so I guess my word or suggestion to everybody is think big, but work at all levels simultaneously so that you build that good, strong ground base of quick closings. That way, when you do go to that larger company, that bigger company, and they ask about your track record and they ask what you've done, you have things to point to and experience in developing and structuring these deals. The other thing I would say too, Alan, is it's not a mistake. It's a natural tendency for people to want to try to sell something that we don't currently offer. And a lot of times we'll get feedback from great companies, good potential partners, and the BA that asks, can you do this, can you change this, can you do the following things? And the answer isn't no, we don't want to. It's simply that we don't typically have the ability or the time right now to handle all these requests, because if we made just one small change for every partner that we've already closed, we'd be in the business of making changes to our program day in and day out. The idea of the program is to provide a stable platform at a very, very reasonable price for profit companies and for nonprofits for free. And so we provide a standard package, but that standard package is so robust and full of incredible tools that it doesn't need much improvement or any improvement at all. So I would really suggest that besides focusing on your immediate market, that you also focus on not trying to sell that which we don't have yet. We love to hear about suggestions, but it's very, very rare that we're able to make a change to the program just simply because of the time commitment and how it affects other people as well, because it has to go generally across the platform and it affects everybody.
You know, Alex, speaking to that, one of the things that that I'm finding is that everybody gets it. Everybody gets it. They understand this is, for example, the hospital. They said, Alan, we see this as a great, what was the word? I can't remember the term they used, but just a great benefit for all their employees. And of course, they want to get it to their employees as soon as possible. And they were really disappointed that they couldn't get it out before Christmas. But they had to go through that chain of command, and that speaks to the heart of what you just said. Sometimes it takes anywhere from 6 months to 12 months on the selling cycle of these big corporations. And if I look at all the nonprofits that I've got signed up, the one that has the most VIP customers already is the little church up in Chicago, because they don't have to go through a board of directors. They don't have to go through, it's just a small congregation. They got really excited about it, and they took off with it. And let me clear up one thing for everybody, because a lot of people think that Dubli's going to come in and they're going to take over their advertising department or their marketing department. They're going to do all of this marketing for that corporation, and that's really not the way it works. What we're providing, and correct me if I say this wrong, Alex, and you know what, Alex, maybe I should let you say this, but what I was going to get at is that we're helping them monetize their database with Dubli's platform. We're not going to go in and do all their marketing. We're giving them the ability to take the communication mechanisms, whatever they happen to be, whether it's email, snail mail, website, video, whatever it happens to be. We're letting them take the ways that they already market to their database and monetize that by adding Dubli into that and showing the consumers the real value of being a VIP customer at Dubli. Is that a fair assessment, or how would you respond to what Dubli actually does for that nonprofit?
Well, I think that you hit it on the head, Alan. What we do is we support their current marketing and their outreach with their current customers by providing them a bigger engine. The way that I look at it is if you ask somebody, do you like your car, and they say yes, and then if you tell them that you could put in a bigger engine that makes it more efficient, though, and you're not going to use a lot more gas, and you're putting absolutely no additional manpower or anything into the maintenance of that engine, doesn't it make sense to have a bigger engine? And the answer is, well, yes, it is. That's what we provide, is a bigger engine, a more robust engine. We will help them, obviously, with how to use our platform, and that's actually a great segue, Alan. We're currently working on a number of new video scripts and tools for both partners and for customers to explain how a partner should speak to a customer about utilizing the platform, about using the website, and then how customers should go about using the website. So we're going to be putting an awful lot of good marketing material in the back office to support those partners once they come on board, and then to support those customers to help them get the best possible bargains and the most bang for their buck, if you will, from being members of the website. So we're really focused on that for this particular quarter. Something I would also throw out there for you is that we've already been recognized as a real breakthrough company. I cannot, unfortunately, tell you the name of the television show today, but we have been asked by a show whose focus is identifying those companies in e-commerce, in technology, that are breaking through and making substantial amounts of revenue available at a number of levels, which of course we do. And we've been asked to be a feature on that particular show in the next 60 days. And I think that speaks very, very loudly to the progress that we've made and to the stability and strength of the product offering. As you can imagine, Alan, they don't ask just anybody to be on this particular show. No. And I'm very proud of that achievement on behalf of Michael Hansen and the entire company, because we've worked very hard at elevating this above all similar types of programs and really giving it a unique character and a unique attraction, being based on the cashback. And the way that it's presented, and the fact that we really have gone to great lengths to develop it, like I've said before, a very sophisticated program made very simple for the partner and the user. So it's great getting this recognition, and when I'm able to give you a little bit more detail about what this program is all about, I'll certainly do that.
Well, that's exciting to hear. I can't wait to find out who that is, because we can all use that to help promote this. And one of the things that Alex set up that's really helped me tremendously is when I just walk into any organization, I let them know that we sponsored the Red Cross, and that kind of, for the most part, that makes people sit up and pay attention, because they immediately think, well, if it's good enough for the Red Cross, who am I to say this isn't good enough for us? And so it kind of sets the stage, and then once they realize that it's such a great benefit or an added service to their employees, to their consumers, their parents, their donors, whatever they happen to be in their database, and also to all of their employees, and then themselves, they recognize that this really, and I hate to use the term, I really do, but it becomes a no-brainer to everybody concerned, because we're not asking you to change your buying habits. We're not asking you to buy from different companies. We're saying, look, do all the things that you're already doing, and you're going to get paid cash back for doing exactly what you were already going to do anyway. And the other thing that's really interesting to me, Alex, I've gone out there and I've looked at Jolly Wallet, I've looked at Ebates, I've looked at all the other competitors out there, and there are some competitors. That's you expect that in any business. And nobody's paying as much cash back as Dubli is. Not any one company have I seen that's paying anywhere near as much cash back as Dubli. So that's really exciting to me, and I'm really excited to find out who this program is, or the news agency is that you were talking about. Now, Alex, I know that you're headed to Europe, next week?
Yes.
You and Michael are going to go over there. How's the nonprofit program doing over in Europe?
For the nonprofit or for the partner program in general?
I'm sorry, for the partner program in general.
Doing very, very well. We have a couple of countries that, of course, we already had mature malls in and networks, and so they had a bit of a leg up. But everybody's doing quite well, and the stories are almost identical, Alan, to what we hear here, which is that it's an outstanding program. Mm-hmm. People look for the formula, the calculus, to figure everything out, and then they finally realize that, my goodness gracious, we spent 2 weeks trying to figure out what the calculus is, and all it is exactly what's been presented. There's no calculus behind this. It's a very straightforward program. So we hear a lot of that, and that's always a good thing to know, that people really do research what we give them, and they really take a look at it from A to Z, and then they come back and say it is exactly what you said it is. So that's always a good thing. So they're experiencing in Europe what we experience here, and they're having great amount of success. We're very, very excited about developing our network there and developing the partner program.
Well, Alex, listen, I want to thank you for being on the call this morning. I know you said you had a lot to do this afternoon, but I do want to thank you so much. I want to wish you a Happy New Year. Thank you for being on the call. Thank you for all that you do. Because, Alex, you've only been with the company now for, about 8 or 9 months?
No, 14 months.
Okay, I didn't realize it's that long. Wow, time flies.
It does.
But any parting words you'd leave with us, to words of wisdom, if you will?
Well, the words of wisdom are, believe what Alan says. Everything that I've had the opportunity for the 14 months that I've been with Dubli to work with Alan. Alan was one of the first people I did work with, and he's gotten to see how everything fits together. And I think that when he tells you about how successful this can be, and how it can be utilized to develop both your personal revenue as well as the development of your organization, I think that you should listen very carefully to him, because this is definitely something that should be taken seriously and given 100% attention, because it can be that good. It takes some time, it takes some work, but everything that's really great takes some time and takes some work.
Well, Alex, thank you so much for being on the call. I really appreciate it, and we look forward to hearing from you when you get back from Europe, and we're really anxious to find out what interviewer is going to interview you about Dubli.
Well, hopefully everything just falls into place as it should. I mean, TV is a funny thing, but right now everything looks good, and candidly, Alan, there'll be others, so we'll be in good shape. But I think that the important thing is we're becoming recognized. And being recognized is the best form of advertising. So the name and the reputation is out there, and that's what's really important about that.
All right, well, Alex, thanks so much, and have a great trip to Europe next week, and we look forward to talking to you soon.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Thank you so much. Well, listen, guys, I really hope you understand the significance of this program. And if you haven't looked at the partner program, you can go to dublipartner.com. I had it up on the screen a minute ago. And what that does is it presents Dubli to the partner in the light that they should look at it. And then, you know what, let me do this. Let me go back out to the site real quick. Because for those of you who have not signed up a partner program yet, I just kind of want to give you an idea of how simple the process is to get a company signed up. It's really, really simple. Now, here I am right now. I'm sitting at dublipartner.com. And what happens, the partner program, and you can be on your screen looking at it, they'll come to dublipartner.com. All they need to do to register is click on this register button right here. It'll take them to the registration page. They're going to select the country they're in. They're going to put in the company name, the company regulation number, or this is really the 501c3 number. Then they'll put in their title. We need a secondary contact down here, the alternative contact, in case we can't get them for any reason. They'll put in their phone number, their address, just all the regular, normal information that you would expect. And then down here, they need the sponsor ID. Now, for those of you that are not aware of this, if you want to sponsor a nonprofit, you have to be certified. There's two ways you can be certified. You can either get a TLA package if you want to start your business with a TLA package. We call that the Team Leader Accelerated Package, and I'll show you a little bit about that later in the training. Or you can, and once you become, if you get a TLA package, that's it's actually $2,495, but here's what it includes. Everybody that joins Dubli and wants to become a BA, a business associate, you have to pay a one-time fee of $499 for a business package. That is included in the $2,495 TLA package. Then you also, if you want to sponsor a nonprofit, you must be certified. That's a $1,000 certification process. You've got to pay the company $1,000. You take the certification online, and it'll take you anywhere from 3 to 4 hours to take it. But it's very good. It's very informative. But you must be certified in order to sponsor a nonprofit. And then, of course, they give you $1,000 worth of free memberships, VIP memberships or premium memberships, whichever one you want, to give away to help you establish your customer base. Now, it's just my opinion, and it's just as my opinion. You can do with what you want. I don't believe in giving away anything to anybody simply because I know from a consumer standpoint the value that Dubli represents to the average consumer is phenomenal. And so I don't believe in the need to give anything away. So if I had to get a TLA package right now and I start my business, I would go ahead and do that if I want to sponsor nonprofits, but I would not give away a membership to anybody. And if I had to give away a membership, I would only give away the premium membership because the VIP membership is too valuable to give it away to anybody. And sometimes the psychology of people is that, well, if it's free, it must not be worth that much. And we don't want to set up that, mind thought or that mental framework, if you will. So I just don't believe in giving away anything to anybody for free. But anyway, you would put in your sponsor ID once you've been certified, and it'll automatically populate your name. And then they would go down here and they would say, are you a nonprofit organization? You'd click on this, and it would tell them to go choose a file. Now, this would normally be a PDF, and all it is a letter from the IRS stating that they are, in fact, a 501c3. And it'll have their 501c3 number and that sort of thing in there. And you would upload that. Then they would click on register. And this is a real simple process. They just put in the name of the company, the country, the 501c3 number, their title, create a password with their email that they're going to use, put in the address to the company, get the alternative contact, the sponsor ID number, which you're going to give them. And you should be on the phone with your organization when you walk them through this. And then have them check this button, upload that file. From there, they would click on register. They would go to the next page, and all they're going to do is they're going to upload their logo, which they can put on their site, which if we go to the Dubli site, for example, here's the logo for Dubli right here in the top left-hand corner. Their logo would sit right here. And that's really the only private labeling or co-branding, if you will, that we do for that organization. But it's really that simple. And I can tell you, I've done 54 presentations now, at least 54. And I was telling Alex before the call, I've only had one organization say no to me. Now, not all 54 have said yes. They're still in the process of kind of digesting this and getting through the holidays, and that's to be expected. But only one organization, and it was a private high school up in Chattanooga, only one organization said no to me. But here's why they said no. They didn't say no because they didn't think the program had its merit. They said no because after I did the presentation with them, the gal that was in charge of all the fundraising at the high school said, well, Alan, I'm afraid we can't do this. And I said, well, why not? She said, well, we don't do any kind of fundraising at all. We just depend on philanthropic giving. I said, well, why did you want me to do this then? She said, well, I just wanted to see what you had. So that's the only organization that has said no to Dubli, because, they just do philanthropic giving. They don't do any kind of fundraising. Now, if the girl had really been smart, what she would have said, well, Alan, I'd like to be a VIP customer, even though we can't use it, but she didn't do that, so she really wasn't paying attention. And that's okay. You're going to run into that. But I will tell you from my experience, these small groups like this small church up in Chicago, they've already got over 30 VIPs. The Red Cross doesn't have any yet because they had all this stuff on their plate. They're just getting started this month. Now, I'm sure they'll outpace them over a period of time, but the point is that it does take time for these larger organizations to go through this selling cycle. And it, like Alex said, it can be anywhere from 6 months to 12 months. And, it took me 3 months to do all the presentations at the hospital, largely because it takes that long to get all the key people in the same room at the same time. It's just part of the process. So if you're going to a small high school, if you're going to a small church, I would say that those are the two sweet spots, of the Dubli Partner Program. And the reason I say that, let's think of an organization like the Red Cross, for example. You have a lot of donors that help support the Red Cross, and they're always there whenever the Red Cross needs them. And some of the regular donors to the Red Cross, they're pretty passionate about it, but not all of them. I don't know any parents that are not passionate about helping their kids. And I would really encourage you, rather than going after public schools, I would encourage you to go after the smaller private high schools, because you don't have to go through that bureaucracy. Somebody who's the dean of the school or the headmaster, whatever you want to call them, or maybe the chairman of the board is going to see this presentation, and you cannot go into any organization like this cold. If you do that, it's just going to be a tough sell. You need to find somebody who has a strong relationship with that organization, or somebody that you know very well that's already sitting on the board of directors or is already a member of the congregation in good standing with the church, whatever it happens to be. But you really do need that person that's connected to that organization in a very significant way, because that opens the door for you so that you can walk right in. You have no baggage to carry with you, and you're coming in, and because that person recommended you, everybody's already got a certain level of trust built up with you before you even walk in the door. And then what I do, and every time I present this, all I'm trying to do is establish for them the value that this presents to the average consumer, because that is the most significant and most important piece to this, is what does it represent to the average consumer. Once they see that, it's an automatic no-brainer for them. They get it right away. They understand what it represents to them as an organization and to the database or the supporters, the parents, the whatever the organization happens to be, even their employees. They recognize that this is a great value-added service for their employees, just like the hospital did up in Chattanooga. Now, I am recording this, so if anybody wants to hear what Alex had to say, I'll have this up on Do A to Z. And, while I'm here, let me go ahead and go to Do A to Z real quick. If you need to find anything about the meetings that are coming up, you can go to Do A to Z. And here is, matter of fact, here's 2 videos. Tom Ashlock did this, and he was kind of presenting this to me as if I was somebody who was looking at becoming a customer. This is for the customer part only. So I would encourage you to listen to this, and if you don't have your word tracks, listen to this over and over. This is a great job by Tom Ashlock. And then over here, Tom, it's the same interview, but we just added the part for the nonprofit and for the business associate that wants to do this as a business. This was primarily for the customer. So I would encourage you to listen to these 2 if you haven't already. But if you want to keep up with the webcast that we're doing, you just come in here to doa2z.com, DOA, the number 2, z.com, and click on Dubli Webcast. And this will take you in, and here's the webcast. Now, tomorrow, Monday night, we are not going to have a webcast because that's the national championship, and I want to see that between Auburn and FSU. I'm a big FSU fan or ACC fan. But then Tom and I will be back on Tuesday, and then you'll see the rest of the webcast added down here. I've got to change those, and I'll do that this weekend. But let's go ahead and let me show you what I do with a nonprofit. When I sit down with them, one of the things that I'm explaining to them is that I want them to understand the value that's presented to the average consumer, and that is the first thing I do. And so when I do this, I'll come in, and generally I'll show them Dubli. I'll show them the Dubli website, and I say, well, let me show you what we're doing, because basically we're paying the consumers, we're paying your donors, we're paying the parents that support your organization or your high school or your church. We're paying them to do all the things that they're already doing. And let me show you how this works. And then the next thing I'll do is I'll go in here and I'll go to Dubli. I'll go to Google, and I'll say, well, let's go look at women's handbags, for example. And I'll click on that, and I say, now look, here's what most people do today. If they're looking for a product and they haven't already selected it, or they don't have a definite merchant they're going to buy it from, they'll naturally go to Google or Bing or Yahoo search, and they'll go find a product. They'll put in a product like I put in women's handbags, and then what will happen is Google will deliver the results of that search or that search query that they put in at Google. And then I'll say, now you see all the listings, you see all the ads over here, but if you notice closely, you'll see something different here. You'll see that this says up to 9.9% cash back. Well, what is that? Well, if you hover over it, there's the Dubli drop-down cashback window. And you can see that I'm still sitting at Google. I haven't done anything different than I would normally do. And I can look at this and I say, okay, here's women's handbags. And it tells me right away that if I'm a free customer at Dubli, I'm going to get up to 3.9% cash back. If I'm a premium customer, 7.9% cash back. And I'll let them know. I'll cover those memberships in just a minute. And then if I'm a VIP customer, I'm going to get 9.9% cash back. And I'll say, now, if you don't like this one particular one at Macy's, you can go down here and here's Macy's again. Let's see, here we've got Kohl's. If you prefer to shop at Kohl's and get 8.6% cash back as a VIP customer, you can do that. Here's Overstock down here. Here's Zappos. Here's JCPenney. You look at all the different ones in here. You can even go up here into the ads. Now, here's a good one right here. Look at this. Here's, who is this? This is Piper Lime. Okay, I don't even know who they are. Piper, I guess I'm saying that right. But if I hover over it, you can see if I'm a VIP customer, I'm going to get 15.8% cash back. So let's go look at that one. Now, I can go to piperlime.com by clicking on Go to Store, or I can actually click on the link. It doesn't matter. But if I click on that link, it takes me directly to that store. It takes me directly to that pocketbook, and you'll notice that automatically the app pops down. Now, I'm showing this to the nonprofit, and I say, look, you come here to it as a customer. If you went directly to piperlime.com and you just forgot about going through Dubli because you either you don't know about Dubli or you're not a customer yet, you're going to get 60% off on this sale. If you go through Dubli and come here, you're still going to get the 60% off. As a matter of fact, if you've got a Capital One card or a Discover card and they'll pay you 5% cash back, you can use that card, get the 60% off sale here, get the 5% cash back on your Discover card or your Capital One card. But on top of all of that, you're going to get an additional 15.8% cash back on whatever this cost is above and beyond the sale, above and beyond the 5% cash back from Capital One or Discover card. And so all I'd have to do is just click on Add Bag, and I go to it. I'm going to go Checkout, and when I get to the checkout, here it is. It's I've added 2 in here. It was $368. Well, on a $368 handbag at 15.8% cash back, that's $58.14. That's one purchase. How did I get there? I went to Google. I put in a search for women's handbags, and then in the ads on the Google search results, I clicked on the drop-down cashback window from Dubli, which is the app. I went directly to that merchant. The app drops down, and the only thing I've got to do to get this 15.8% cash back, or if I'm a free customer, the only thing I've got to do to get this 9.8% cash back is just click on this Activate Cashback button. It'll activate. It'll disappear. It tells me that the cashback is active. Now it disappears. And I just go make my purchase, and I'm going to get the 15.8% cash back. And as I said, on a $368 pocketbook, that's $58.14 on one purchase. My annual membership is only $99 to receive that 15.8% cash back. So I just paid $99. I'm getting $58.14 cash back on my first purchase. It's a no-brainer. Again, I hate to use that term, but it really is. Now, let's go back to Google again. If I go back to Google one more time, let's put in a search for, you know what, let's see. Let's go toy helicopters. If I put in the search for toy helicopter, you can see that I get down here, and here's Amazon.com right here. Here's Toys R Us, Amazon again. Here's Target.com, and you see there we go, 7.3% cash back. I get down here and look at some others. Here's Hobbytron. I get 11.2% cash back, and I go over into the ads. Here's Sears right here. Here's Kmart. I get 7% cash back. Target.com. There's Walmart. If I go to Walmart, if I click on Go to Store, and I go to Walmart, I get to Walmart, and there's the app. And this page was missing, but that's all right. I'm still sitting at Walmart. I can get 6.6% cash back on anything that I buy at Walmart. I didn't go do something. I didn't have to go to Dubli. I didn't have to log into my Dubli account. I didn't have to go to the Dubli Mall and then go to Walmart. No, I went and did a search on Google, and they start to get that. They see how simple this is. And I say, let me show you one more example. And I'll go in here, and for example, I'll type in Brooks Brothers. And well, here I am at Brooks Brothers. They've got a 50% off sale at the end of the year. I'm going to get all the benefits at that site. Even if I went directly to them, I'm still going to get the same benefits because I'm a Dubli VIP customer. In addition to that, I'm going to get another 9.9% cash back if I'm a VIP customer on top of the 50% off, on top of the 5% cash back that I'm going to get for using my Capital One card or my Discover card. People start to really get this and understand it, and they see that I went directly to the merchant, and there's the app, and it really impresses them. And the only thing I've got to do as a consumer to get this cash back is click on the Activate Cashback button. And here's one thing that I say to them. I say, can you imagine any of your donors? Can you imagine any of your employees that want to say, you know what, I don't want that 9.9% cash back, or I don't want that 3.9% cash back if they happen to be a free customer, so I'm going to go over here and shut this down. It's just, it doesn't make any sense for a consumer to do that. They're leaving money on the table. Then most consumers are going to use their common sense, and they're going to go ahead and take the cash back, even if they're a free customer. Well, at this time, the officials that I'm presenting this to, whether it's the president of the foundation, whether it's the vice president of human resources, the vice president of finance, or the CEO, or the board of directors, or the steering committee, it doesn't matter. They start to get this. And they're all consumers at heart. And so it really starts to kind of sink in, and they're like, wow. And then here's what I do. I say, now, let me show you what I did with my father. My two sisters and my father my two sisters wanted to take my father to give him some really nice shoes. So he loves Brooks Brothers, and they were showing me the shoes that they were going to get. So they went to Brooks Brothers, they went to shoes. These are the shoes that my dad wanted right here. Look at the price on these. $648. Those are an expensive pair of shoes, but that's what he wanted. So I said, well, look, before y'all go, let me do this. Let me call their customer support, because you have to go into the store to order these shoes because these are handmade. So I called their customer support. I told them that I was a Dubli customer and that my father wanted to buy these shoes, but I understood we had to go into the store and order them in the store. They had to, get a really good fitting for his foot, and then they would send it to their maker over in, I think they're in Italy. They would make the shoes, and then they would ship them to the store, and he would go pick them up. She said, well, all you have to do is go to the store, go in, let them measure his feet. They'll order the shoes. You go inside, get on their computers at the store, order them through Dubli, and then they'll have them delivered to the store, and you just come pick them up. Well, those are $648. At 9.9% cash back, we got $64.15 cash back. The membership for an annual membership is only $99. That's a phenomenal deal. I mean, last Christmas, my son wanted a teeter hang-up. That's a $400 item. We had a special that week, and as y'all well know, Dubli does a lot of weekly specials. They do a lot of daily deals. They do a lot of special coupons just for that are exclusive to Dubli customers. So we had 17% cash back at QVC that week. That's about 3 or 4 weeks before Christmas last year. And I went in and I bought the teeter hang-up. Now, I checked the price at Amazon. I checked the price at Walmart. I checked the price at Best Buy. I checked the price at teeterhangup.com because they make it. Everybody had it listed for the exact same price, $400. Well, I bought it through QVC because they were offering us a special that week of 17% cash back. I got $68 cash back on something that I was going to buy anyway on a membership that only cost me $99 a year. Now, last Christmas, I got over $800 cash back. Just phenomenal. I had a lot of money because we had the auctions back then. But I paid for my membership for the next 8 years. That's the value to the consumers. And we're starting to see that if we extrapolate this out, because we really haven't had this in play yet for a year, but if you extrapolate this out with an average family of 2 kids, or with 2 kids, I should say, that they're getting back anywhere from $1,500 to $2,500 a year cash back, doing exactly what they were going to do anyway on a $99 membership. And I explain all this to the nonprofit, and they're like, okay, we get it. Then we have to go to the next step. They've got to take it and they've got to present it to the next, whether it's the CEO or the board of directors or whatever it happens to be. And so it does take a process, but people start to get this. And then what I'll do from there is I'll take them back into Dubli and I'll go into the travel portal. And I'll show them, look, you can go to Priceline.com directly if you want to. And the reason, and I know you've got people at the hospital or whatever organization I'm talking to, I know you've got traveling people in here that go to Priceline, get their, they get a great rate on a hotel, they get a great rate on a car rental, maybe they do their flight reservation through Priceline. But the bottom line is you can do one of two things. You can either go directly to Priceline, or you can go to Travelocity, Expedia, whoever you want to use, and you can get a great rate on a hotel room. But if you go to Dubli, and you're a VIP customer at Dubli, and you then go to Priceline.com through Dubli, not only are you going to get the same great rate that you would get if you went directly to Priceline, but you're also going to get an additional 14% cash back. Now, I took a couple of guys down to Boca Raton last June. We stayed at the Marriott down there in Boca, And on the way down, I made my reservation. I called the hotel. Normally, that room was going to cost me $220 a night. Well, we didn't do that. We went through Dubli. And I did this on the phone. Or actually, I called my wife, and she did it while we were driving. We went through Dubli. We got the $169 rate. So that was about $51 savings. That was a great savings for me right there. Plus, we got 14% cash back on the room. I got another $23.44 cash back. I'm sorry, $23.66 cash back. And that's per night. If I'd stayed 3 nights, that'd have been $70 and about 68 cents. I mean, that's a phenomenal savings to the consumer on a membership that only cost them $99 a year. So people realize that, you know what, I can either join Dubli, even as a free customer, and if I want to join Dubli as a free customer, the only thing I've got to do is I use an email address, and I can go create one at Gmail if I want to that I've never used before. Then I create a username. I create a password. I don't give them my phone number. I don't give them any credit card information. That's all I do. No street address. I just put in an email address, create a username and a password. I'm done as a free customer at Dubli. And then I can get cash back on everything that I do. Now, here's how I wrap it up with a nonprofit. I say, you know, y'all can see the extraordinary value that's presented here to the consumer. And I'll tell them, look, you can go out and we've got companies like Ebates, we've got Jolly Wallet, we've got some of these other companies. You go check them out and you'll see that nobody pays anywhere near as much cash back as Dubli. And let me show you what's in it for your organization. So I move right from the value to the consumer, and I go in and I say, you see over here in the top right-hand corner, this is where the app resides. And if you click on this, you can see that I've already earned $684.63 cash back. And here's the best deals. Now, this will change, and this will start to keep track of any cash that you're leaving on the table if you're not a VIP customer. But let me show you what's in it for your organization. Here's my account right here. And you can see there's 2 rows right here. This one says cash back, and this one says membership cash back. And I explained to them that all 3 customers, whether you're a free customer, a premium, or a VIP, you get that free cash back portion. For example, if you remember at Brooks Brothers, it was 3.9% cash back to the free customer. Well, the premium customer also gets that 3.9% cash back, which is paid on a monthly basis, but they get, in addition to that, they get an extra 4% cash back, which gives them a total of 7.9% cash back as a premium customer. And they're paying $4.95 a month. However, the extra 4% cash back to the premium customer is paid back on an annual basis. But if they're a VIP customer, they get that 3.9% free cash back, but they also get an extra 6% cash back, which is also paid monthly. That's what these 2 columns, or these 2 rows represent. This represents the free cash back that all 3 customers get. And this is where the 30% commission comes into play. This membership cash back down here represents either the 4% or the 6%, which is subsidized by Dubli. Your organization does not receive any commission on this, only on this. But let's look at my example. Here's $342. Let me get my calculator real quick so I'll make sure I give you the right number. And I'm showing them this, and I might even go through the calculation while they're sitting there just because I want them to see it. So $342 plus the 41, let's call it $383. So $383 times 30% is $114. And I'll say, now, I'm just one customer. This represents about 4 months of purchasing. What if you had 1,000 customers? And I don't care whether they're employees, I don't care whether they're people that are in the community at large, or maybe they're a family member, or maybe they're a friend of a friend of a friend of a friend who told them about this. It doesn't matter. Your organization is going to receive 30% on all of this. And if they all were doing the same thing, times 1,000, that's $114,900 to the organization. And they begin to see, you know what, this is really significant. And so what's happening is they start to understand that, you know, I'm getting 30% cash or commission on the free cash back that's paid to all these customers, whether they're a donor, whether they're an employee, maybe they're a patient at the hospital, maybe they're a member of the church, maybe they're the sister of a person who's a member of the church, but they live in a different city. It doesn't matter. They're going to get 30% commission on all of that free cash back that's being paid to those customers. Even the employees of the nonprofit are customers. They're all consumers. They all buy online today. You know, we don't even need to discuss with them what's happening with e-commerce. They're all well aware of it. They understand it. And that's really how I present it to the nonprofits. And I don't give them any spreadsheet on what to expect with numbers, because I don't need to do that. They get it. One of the reasons I really encourage people to go to the nonprofits, you can make one phone call. And with that one phone call, what could happen to you is you could bring in, you know, thousands of customers. Now, it may take some time for it to filter out, but what is Dubli all about? How do we really make our money? You know, Dubli is nothing like your typical network marketing company, and I really don't even consider Dubli a true network marketing company. It's more of a hybrid. But what you have to understand with Dubli is that Dubli is all about customer acquisition. If you don't get customers, nobody makes money. It's not like maybe you've got some exotic juice from the Amazon jungles, or some great skincare product or hair care, or maybe some supplements, whatever it happens to be. It's not where you're trying to bring in a lot of people who want to buy into this idea of this dream of getting this residual income so that eventually they can retire from their job and do this full time. But what happens in those other companies is the products are so expensive. And 100% of the time, you can go to eBay and you can find those same products where people are trying to get rid of their inventory that they had to buy to keep up their volumes. And so they're selling at 10 cents on the dollar. And that's really destroying those companies. But the problem is that the products are so expensive. Nobody is comfortable going to their family, their friends, their neighbors. And so nobody starts selling the product. Nobody gets true customers. Everybody just keeps sponsoring more people in the business who are buying the dream, because, you know, everybody would love to be able to retire and have that residual income coming in. There's nothing wrong with that. But the problem is that the way you make your money is you make your money off of the pocketbooks of the people that you sponsor into the business. And nobody goes out and gets real customers. Dubli is totally the opposite. You can sponsor people and you can make a little bit of money on their $499 business package, or you can make a little bit of money on their TLA package, and we'll go through that in just a little bit. But the bottom line is, if you don't get customers, nobody makes any residual income. You've got to have a lot of customers if you want to make a lot of money with Dubli. And the same thing is true for these nonprofits, but they've got a huge database in most cases. Even this little church up in Chicago, there's 250 members. They've already got well over 30 VIP customers. And one thing that I was explaining to him, Diane Brown is the pastor's wife up there, and I said, Diane, here's what's going to happen to you. Eventually, over a period of time, and I don't know how long it's going to take, you'll have somebody in the church who has a brother, who has a sister, or a cousin, or a nephew that lives in Atlanta, or maybe somebody that lives in Houston, Texas, or Austin, or San Francisco, or New York. And they'll tell them about this because they see the benefit that they're getting, and they want to tell the good news to their friends, their family, people that they know. And then that person in New York has a friend who lives in Virginia, calls them up and says, hey, this is the coolest site I've ever seen. Let me send you a link. Because we're going to teach them how to earn that $20 referral fee. We want them getting that money for referring other customers. And I said, Diane, pretty soon this thing will ping pong all over the country. You'll have people in all 50 states supporting your church. And you know what? Most of them, 99% of them, won't even know that they're doing that. And they don't care. They're here because of the value that it presents to them. They don't care about the church. And they don't even know about it. And I said, plus, Diane, if you take me to any other churches in Chicago or anywhere else, you're going to earn a 5% commission on everything that they do. And she said, oh, Alan, I can get you to all the churches in Chicago. I said, okay. I said, but let's prove it first. Let's walk before we run. Let's prove it so that you can take a proven model to these other churches. She said, yeah, I'm all for that. I mean, they were off and running within a week. And here, this hospital, I've been doing the presentations for over 3 months now, but it's all worked out. It's going to be great. As a matter of fact, what the hospital has done, just to give you an idea of where this all can lead, I presented it to all of them. We had the president of the foundation, we had the vice president of the human resources, the vice president of finance, we had the president of the compliance department, we had one of the nuns in there because this is a Catholic hospital. So we went through all of these different meetings. Well, now they want me to go to a meeting in March. They want me to present this to 350 hospitals across the U.S. They're not part of the Catholic Initiative. They're all independent of the Catholic Initiative, but they're all nonprofit hospitals. I'm going to be able to go to this meeting. I'll do a presentation to all 350, and I'm going to have the luxury, if you will, of the hospital in Chattanooga to really toot my horn for me. I won't have to do it because they're all going to be doing this. All the executives at the hospital, they're all going to become VIP customers. But that's the point of this. it's not about me. It's about the fact that I can go to this one place because we had a really strong contact, and it can lead to all these other hospitals. This could be an absolute fortune to me. Now, I don't know what's going to happen with it. It's too early to say. But the point is that if you get one nonprofit, I guarantee you it's going to open the door for 4 or 5 more nonprofits. They all are looking for new ways to raise money. And this really fits the bill in a very significant way. Now, here's what I want to do. Let's take a 5-minute break. It is 1:09. Let's come back at 1:15, and I'll do about a 35-minute overview of the income behind this. And what I want to do is I want to talk about, doing the business either as a regular BA coming in with a $499 business package and a VIP membership, and then I'm going to compare that to a TLA package. And then I want to throw in the last piece of this. I want to throw in an example if everybody just got one nonprofit. And I want to show you what kind of income you can generate with this, because it's really pretty astonishing. All right, so let's go ahead and take a 5-minute break, and at 1:15 we'll come back and we'll go through the numbers. Let's jump into this. Now, one of the things that I said at the beginning of the presentation, I had the slide up, and I said, come be part of something incredible. Most of you probably have heard the name Ray Kroc. Now, Ray Kroc bought McDonald's from the McDonald's brothers, and I'm talking about the fast food restaurant McDonald's. And he did this back in 1961. He paid $2.8 million for McDonald's. And Ray Kroc made McDonald's what it is. Today, McDonald's has a market cap of well over $90 billion. Everybody's heard of McDonald's. We've all been brainwashed by Ronald McDonald and the toys they give away. I mean, it's just a household name around the world. Now, Ray Kroc was given a speech at Stanford shortly before he died. I believe it was Stanford. And in the speech, he said something that was really important. And I want to make this point, and then we'll go through the training here. He said that the 2 most important things in any successful business like that were, number 1, you had to be in the right place at the right time. And number 2, you had to recognize it. I mean, look at the McDonald's brothers. They had no idea what they had in their hands. They would have never sold it to Ray Kroc for $2.8 million. That was a lot of money back then, but they would have never sold it if they realized and they recognized just what they had in their hands, but they didn't. And so Dubli is in a unique position for all of us because we're all at the very beginning of this. And that's what I'm really trying to get across here. And the reason we can be part of something incredible is, number 1, we're in the right place at the right time, and because the Dubli consumers are getting paid to do all the same things that they're going to do anyway. So the reality is we don't even have a product. Think about the fundraisers for the nonprofits. What's happening there, if you really understand it, is that rather than asking a consumer to make a donation or to buy some magazine subscription or maybe some cookie dough or maybe some gift wrapping paper that they really don't want, what you're doing is you're paying the consumer to participate. You are literally paying the consumer to participate in your fundraising efforts. Now, that's a formula that everybody can gravitate towards, everybody can get excited about. That's the significance of the Dubli offering. And I believe this app right here will change the way people shop online forever. I don't think it's ever going to be the same. And I like to show this because I think it's kind of cute, but got on here and says, my mama gets cash back on everything, even my diapers. And you can go to diapers.com. If you've got a new baby or got one on the way, or you know somebody who's got a baby on the way, they can get 7.3% cash back on all their diapers, and they can have them delivered to their house. They'll get them delivered for free, and they'll be delivered within a day and a half to 2 days. Just phenomenal. And so it's the perfect business model for all of us, whether we want to do nonprofits or not. But the bottom line is that we all have to understand that this is all about customer acquisition. If you don't get customers, you will not make any money. Think about the old scenario versus what we're doing with Dubli. In the old scenario, you might go to your family and your friends, and you're trying to get them to change their buying habits. That's the number 1 cardinal rule right there. You can never ask a consumer to change their buying habits. They won't do it. People don't like change. And on top of all of that, you're trying to get them to spend 3 times as much money, maybe 10 times as much money on a similar product to one they're already using. That's a recipe for disaster, for failure with anybody. And so they begin to run from you. Well, if you look at Dubli, when they see you coming, they want to come up and pat you on the back or maybe even give you a hug, because every time they see you, you're telling them more ways to put more money back in their wallets based on what they're already doing. You're not asking them to buy a product. You're not asking them to change their buying habits in any way, shape, or form. and you're putting money in their pocket. That's a recipe for incredible success. And the key to all our success is the Dubli customers. So if you don't see yourself going out and getting customers, this is wrong business for you. But you're not going to have to go out and sell anybody. You could make a living sitting at Starbucks and presenting this to your friends. So how do we get paid? Let's take a couple examples here, because I want to make sure that everybody's crystal clear on what we get paid on. We get paid on the same things that any of the partner programs or the partners in the partner program get, whether they're for-profit or nonprofit. We get paid on the free cash back, and not 100% of it, but a portion of the free cash back. Now, how do we find out how much? Go into your Dubli Network back office, and over on the right-hand side, you'll see the commissions in the mall. If you click on that, it'll show you the amount of cash back, the amount of the free cash back, and it's not 100% on any of these. It's usually about 70 to 75% or maybe 80% of the free cash back that we get paid on. So here's the way it works. Here at Macy's, you've got, if you're a free customer, you've got 1.9% cash back. If you're a premium, you can get 5.9% cash back, and if you're a VIP, 7.9% cash back. And you can see that the free cash back portion varies from merchant to merchant. I think the lowest free cash back we have is 0.6% cash back. Well, the highest is right here, 75% cash back for the free customer at eHarmony or Match.com. Now, that's about a $90 membership every 3 months. So you're getting back about a little over $60. That's an incredible savings to a free customer. Well, we're getting paid on this free cash back. So here's what happens. The premium customer gets the free cash back, but they get an extra 4% cash back in addition to that free. Here's the 4% right here. That adds up to the 10.5 that they're getting. But we do not get paid on that 4%. Nobody does. If you look at the VIP customer, they're getting the 6.5% free cash back, and this is paid on a monthly basis. But they're also getting an extra 6% cash back, which is also paid on a monthly basis. Now, the significance of that to the VIP customer is the fact that they can take that 6% that's being paid to them on a monthly basis. Now, understand this, guys. There's going to be about a 90-day delay in the time that somebody makes a purchase and they actually have that 6% and that free cash back in their hands so they can go spend it. But that's to be expected. Why? Because everybody's got a return policy. And most companies have anywhere from a 30 to a 60-day return policy. That return policy has to expire before they're going to send out the cash back. Why? Well, if you went in and let's say you bought something and you got 6.5% cash back at Joseph A. Bank, and the next day you take it back and they've already paid you the 6.5% cash back, how are they going to get that 6.5% cash back? They're not going to be able to. So they're not going to let you game the system. So that's the reason for the delay. So the first 90 days, you're not going to see any money coming in. You'll see it register, and you'll see that you've got the purchases made. You see that the cash back, whether it's free or the VIP cash back, it's pending. On the premium customers, you'll see that 4% pending for a solid 12 months. And then at the end of your annual membership, you'll get that cash back. So let's look at this and see how this works. But we do not get paid on the 6% to the VIP. We do not get paid on the extra 4% to the premium. Just want to make sure everybody's clear on that. So here's what I want to do. I want to talk about the rank advancement. Now, before I do that, though, I will say one other thing. And this is really important that you understand this because this distinguishes us from every company I've ever looked at. We will have hundreds, and mark my words, this is going to happen. We will literally have hundreds of people that will come to Dubli. They will join as at the bottom rank, which is a team member. They will never progress past that rank of a team member. But here's what's going to happen. They will have a knack for getting customers, whether they're doing it through affiliate marketing or they do a blog or they do it through Facebook advertising or maybe Craigslist. I don't care how they do it, but they're going to have a real knack for bringing in lots of customers. Those team members will never progress past that rank of team member, and you will have hundreds, maybe even thousands, probably not thousands, but you'll have hundreds of these people doing this. They'll make more money than 70% or 70, maybe as much as 75% of the vice presidents and the senior vice presidents. Now, I'm not saying that to try to discourage you from becoming a senior vice president or a vice president because you want to get your rank as high as you can. The point I'm really trying to make here is that this model is incredible because it allows somebody to do just that. I mean, let me give you a real quick example, and I don't want to sit on this too long because we need to move along here, but I promise you over the next 12 months, you will see this happen. And I just hope I just hope and pray it's somebody that's in my organization. But you're going to have somebody who's going to sponsor a customer. They're going to be a VIP customer. And let's call her Sue. Now, Sue is a good friend of the BA that sponsored her, but she doesn't have any desire to do a business. She has a very good friend, let's say named Tom. And Tom has a really good friend who lives out in San Francisco named Joey. Joey is some kind of local celebrity, and he's got 100,000 followers on his Twitter account, which is not a whole lot of followers on a Twitter account of somebody who's a local celebrity. But Joey only knows Tom. Joey does not know Sue, and he certainly doesn't know you. None of those people. Sue's not a business owner. She's just a VIP customer. Tom is only a VIP customer, and Joey is only a VIP customer. Now, Tom got $20 for referring Joey, and Sue got $20 for referring Tom. Well, Joey's got the 100,000 followers on Twitter. He trusts Tom. So Joey starts using the VIP account. He says, you know what, this is really pretty cool. I'm getting cash back. I bought a really nice pair of shoes the other day, and I got $68 cash back. Or I made a trip, and I got $23.66 cash back on my room in addition to the great rate because I went through Priceline through Dubli. He said, this is phenomenal. So what does Joey start to do? Joey starts to tweet this out to the 100,000 followers he's got. And over the course of the next 3 months, he tweets this out, and he's just giving them examples of all the cash back he's getting. And let's assume, now remember, he's only a VIP customer. He doesn't know anything at all about the business opportunity. And let's say that over the 3-month period of time, that 10% of his followers say, you know what, we trust Joey. We've been following him for a long time. Let's go ahead and try this out. So let's say that 10% of the 100,000 followers decide they want to become a VIP customer because they trust Joey. Now, Joey is not a business associate. He's a VIP customer. Joey sends them his link, his customer referral link. Those 10,000, because 10% of 100,000 is 10,000, so therefore 10,000 people sign up as VIP customers. And I don't care how long it takes, that's irrelevant. But if those 10,000 followers that are following Joey, or the 10% of 100,000 followers, if they sign up as a VIP customer, what does Joey get? Joey gets $20 per customer. Joey just made $200,000 from the customer referral program. Now, that might sound outlandish, but I promise you it's going to happen. If those are your customers, what did you just make? Now, remember this. All of those customers that I just referred to, they're your customers. And Joey doesn't know who you are. Tom doesn't know who you are. Only Sue knows you. Well, if 10,000 of them pay their $99, that's $990,000. You're going to earn a 25% commission on that. You just made $247,500. Now, that's a one-time-a-year fee that you're going to get. And I promise you this, if those customers continue to use the VIP membership, guess what's going to happen? They're not going to quit using it because they're getting paid cash back to do what they were going to do anyway. It's that simple. All right, well, let's go through my example. What I want to do is I want to compare, and now I'm going to assume everybody's going to come in with a $99 VIP membership, and I'm going to assume that over the next couple of months, you're going to start getting into a position where you can get 30 VIP customers per month, and we're going to do this for 3 months. Now, 30 VIP customers a month is not that difficult once you start doing this and you really understand it. And let's compare the income of a person that comes in as a team member package, and we call that the organic growth. So they start as a team member. They get their VIP membership, so they're spending about $600. And I want to compare that to the TLA package, which we call the Rapid Rank Advancement package. And here's what happens. We're going to look at the income that's generated over those 3 months because we're going to assume that both of these individuals make it to the sales director's position, which is not that hard to do. Takes some work, but everybody can do this. We're going to call this the organic growth. We're going to say that over the next 3 months, they become a sales director. Then we're going to look at the TLA package. We're going to assume this person becomes a sales director in 3 months, the same time span, but with a different package. And I want to compare the two incomes, and then I want to throw in that each one of the persons in this organization right here gets just one nonprofit. And trust me, that's almost impossible. If you get one nonprofit, you're going to get 3 or 4 more because they're going to refer you to other nonprofits. That's happened every single time to me. We have one high school has already referred us to 50 other high schools. That's just the way it works. They're also going to get their 30 VIP customers every month. But the first month, we're going to assume they don't get any because it takes a little bit of time for people to figure this out before they can start doing that. And again, it doesn't really matter the time frame on this. It could be 6 months. It could be 9 months. I'm just setting up, so we can compare apples to apples, okay? So as a team member, when you join as a team member, and we're looking at the organic growth, you are eligible to earn a 5% commission on anybody that you personally sponsor. And in order for you to advance to the next rank, which is a team leader, you've got to sponsor 3 team members on your front line. So what do you make every time you sponsor a team member? Well, they've got to come in with a $499 business package. You get 5% of that, which is $24.95. You get 5% of their VIP membership because you sponsored them. So if we do 3 other people, we sponsor 3 people on your front line, help you do that, you become a team leader. Now, if we look at the income that was generated that month, here's what we've got. We've got 30 VIP customers. Now, these are the VIP customers that you're getting yourself. I'm going to assume that you've been in the business long enough, and now you can start doing this. You've got 3 BAs coming in on your front line with a $499 package. 5% of that's $74.85. Then you've got the 3 VIP memberships at 5% is $14.85. So that's a total of $1,432.20 in the first month. You started as a team member. You spent $600. You've already got your money back. And this could have taken 2 months. It could have taken 3 months. I don't really care. Now, the other thing I want you to notice is once you become a team leader, now you're eligible to earn 10% on anybody that you personally sponsor. So if you sponsored another person on your front line, rather than making a 5% commission on them, you'd actually make a 10%. But I'm not interested in going wide right now. I just want to look at the rank. So in order to get to the next rank, what you've got to do is you've got to help this person sponsor 3 people on their front line. Once they do that, this person becomes a team leader, this person becomes a team leader, this person becomes a team leader, and now these 3 people are team leaders. Well, with 3 team leaders on your front line, that makes you a team coordinator. Well, let's look at the income that was generated, because you've got the 30 VIP customers this month that you're bringing in. You've got 30 VIP customers because in the second month we're going to assume these 3 people start bringing in their 30 VIP customers. There they are at 5%. That's $445.50. You've got these 9 BAs down here that came in with the team member package, $499 times 5% is $224.55. So that's a total, I'm sorry, plus their VIP memberships, that's a total of $2,057.10. Why are you only getting a 5% override on all this? Well, as a team coordinator, you're eligible to earn 15%. A team leader is eligible to earn 10%. You have to subtract from your 15% their 10%, which leaves you a 5% override. But you also get a 5% override on these people because this person took 10% of them. So you're getting a 5% override on everybody because everybody's just one rank below you on your front line. Okay? Now let's take this same organization. We just spread it out a little bit so we can see this a little bit better. Let's go from team coordinator. In the 3rd month, we're going to go to a sales director. And again, I don't care if it takes 3 months or 4 months or 6 months or a year. It doesn't really matter. But in order to get to a sales director, what do you have to do? You've got to get 3 team coordinators on your front line. So you've got to take this structure right here, and you've got to duplicate it for these 3 people on your front line. They have to be personally sponsored by you, these 3 team coordinators. So in order to do that, that means we've got to help this person, this person, this person, each get 3 people. And once we do that, each one of these 3 people becomes a team leader, which makes this person a team coordinator. Do the same thing over here. This person becomes a team coordinator. Do the same thing over here with the 3rd person. That person becomes a team coordinator, and now you're a sales director. And that's the rank that we want to achieve because this is the rank that's really going to allow you to start to maximize your income. Well, if we look at the income generated in doing this, you're getting your 30 VIP customers again, which is $1,342.50. You're getting 12 BAs. Down here, these 3 plus these 9, that's 12 BAs times 30 VIP customers because they're now getting their 30 VIP customers every month at 5%. That's $1,782. Now, this is the 5% of the $99 membership. You've got these 27 BAs down here who just came into the business with their business package plus their VIP package. There's another $673.65 plus $133.65. You add that all together, and that's a total of $3,931.80 in month 3. And it could be month 4, month 5, I don't really care. But if we add all this together, in that 3 month, you made $1,432.20 the first month, $2,057.10 the second month, and this month you made $3,931.80. You add all that together, that's $7,421.10. It's not bad for 3 months, 6 months, 7 months. Let me give you a clue how good that really is. If you take all the companies out there that are members of the Direct Selling Association on a global basis and look at all the people that are they're members of that organization trying to build a business, The average BA, the average distributor with all of those companies worldwide, they make less than $250 per year. Less than $250 per year. That's the average annual income. That's pathetic. And why does that happen? Because nobody goes out and gets customers because it's too painful to do it, because you're trying to sell products that are way too expensive. They're way too educational. We're not doing anything. We're not trying to change the buying habits of the consumer. We're saying, look, do everything that you're already doing and get cash back on all of it. That's the beauty of this. Let's look at this. You've got 39 people in this organization. You got 3, 12, and 27. That's 39 people. Now, as a sales director, you're eligible to earn 20% per month on anybody that you personally sponsor. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take these 39 people. Now, here's why you want to get your rank, but you also need to have that width if you truly want to maximize the income with this company. Now, understand this. If all you want to do is come in and be a team member, and you don't ever want to sponsor anybody in the business, all you want to do is go out and get your own customers, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. And you can make a great living. If you were lucky enough to find Joey, who had 100,000 followers, well, you're going to make a tremendous amount of money. So we got these 39 people. And let's say they all have 1,000 VIP customers or 100 VIP customers. I don't really care. But let's say they all have the exact same number of VIP customers, and those customers are all spending the same amount of money every single month, which that's not reality, but let's just assume that so I can compare apples to apples. Now let's assume that you sponsor another 39 people on your front line. So you've got the same number of BAs over here that you do over here, but I want you to see the difference in the income. You're getting a 5% override on all of these people, which means you're only getting a 5% override on all of the organizational customers. But if you look at these 39 people, you're making a 20% commission on all their business packages. You're making a 20% commission on their VIP memberships. And you're getting a 15% override on all of their customers. And if each one of these people had 100 customers or 1,000, whatever the number of customers these people have over here, and they're all spending the same amount of money, you're making 15% override on their customers versus 5% over here. Now, if you didn't have the rank of an SD, that wouldn't apply. Maybe you're only a team leader. You'd only get a 5% override. But because you're a sales director, you're getting 20% override on the business packages plus a 15% override on their customers. Therefore, you're making 3 times as much money with this organization over here, and these are all on your front line, as you are with this organization right here. But, again, if you didn't have the rank, you wouldn't be able to do that. So that's the importance of getting the rank plus the width if you truly want to maximize the income at Dubli. Well, let's look at the income from doing this right here. That's 39 frontline BAs times $499 plus their $99 times 20%. That's $4,662.40. You've got 39 front-level BAs. And let's assume that it's the next month and they're all sponsoring 30 VIPs each times 15% override on them. That's $17,374.50. That's a total of $22,038.90 versus $7,429.10 for the exact same amount of work, for the exact same number of customers, for the exact same number of BAs. Now that's the significance of the width. Well, let's do this. Let's look at the rapid rank advancement. Now again, we're going to assume this takes 3 months, but it's actually what I'm showing is 2 months. And again, I don't really care whether it's 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. It doesn't matter. We're looking at the income generated from achieving the rank of a sales director. Again, what happens? If you want to advance from team leader, and this is a team leader accelerated package, this is the $2,495 package I was talking about earlier. If you want to get from there to team coordinator, because that's the next rank, you've got to sponsor 3 TLAs on your front line. They're coming in with a $2,495 TLA package. You're going to get 10% of that because you're already a team leader. Therefore, you're eligible for 10% versus the 5% of a team member. So that's $294.50. They're coming in with their VIP membership times 10%. That's $9.90. So in order to do that, we've got to find 3 TLAs on our front line. We find these 3 TLAs on our front line, and they're getting a TLA package because they do want to go out and sponsor some nonprofits. That makes you a team coordinator. Well, let's look at the income here. Now, I'm assuming you've got your 30 VIP customers this month, just one a day. That's $1,342.50. plus the 3 BAs with the $24.95 package is 10% of that is $748.50, plus their 10% of their VIP membership package is $29.70. Add that together, that's $2,120.70. Now, again, you're a team coordinator. If you sponsor somebody on your front line, instead of making 10%, you're now eligible to earn a 15% commission on their TLA package or their team member package, whatever they come in with. But you're eligible for 15%. But again, I'm not interested in this right now. I want to look at the rank. So in order to go to the next rank of sales director, I've got to help these 3 people duplicate the structure because I need 3 team coordinators on my front line in order for me to become a sales director. I help this person find his or her 3 TLAs. That makes them a team coordinator. Do the same thing with these 2 people right here. They all 3 are now team coordinators, which makes me a sales director. If I look at the income from doing that, you've got 30 VIPs again that you got. You've got these 3 BAs down, TLAs down here. They're getting their 30 VIP customers. So 3 BAs times 30 times 5%, because now you're at a 5% override, is $445.50. Plus you've got these 9 VAs down here coming in with the TLA package at 5% is $1,122.75 plus their VIP membership. So that's a total of $2,955.30. But again, if each one of these BAs goes out and gets just 1 nonprofit, and let's assume that those nonprofits are either a local high school or a local church, because this is where the real sweet spot is for the nonprofits. I mean, I'm going to make a lot of money off the Red Cross, I'm sure of it, but it's going to take a long time to filter out. My assumption is that in 2014, I'm just not going to make that much money off the Red Cross, but in 2015, I think it'll go through the roof because it's just going to take a while to filter out. But you get a local high school, you get a local church, a small one, it'll filter out immediately, and that's what I'm already starting to see up in Chicago. So you've got 480 parents, let's say that become a VIP customer. And I don't care if this takes a year or 2 years to happen, 480 parents doing this is not that big a deal. Times 12 months times 5% is $28,512. Now this is the commission that you would earn on the VIP memberships of the parents at these high schools or these local churches. Now that's the income from the membership. Let's look at the residual income. Now we know from the company that each VIP customer right now is spending on average about $240 to $260 per month in the mall. So we're going to use the low end of that. We'll assume it's just $240 a month in the mall. That's what they're spending. That's their gross spending. Okay. We know that the average free cash back, and I'm getting these numbers from the company, by the way, is about 8%. That's the average. Well, if you take $240 times 8%, that's $19.20. Well, you're only going to get a 5% override. So $19.20 times 5% is only 96 cents. So you're not making a lot of money off of each one of these customers, but you're getting a lot of customers. And that's the name of this game, is all about customer acquisition. But you know what? One of the things that needs to be said here, because this is all about customer acquisition and because the value to the consumers is so extraordinary, once you get to whatever level of income you want on a monthly basis and you decide, you know what, I want to retire, I don't want to work the business anymore, guess what's going to happen? Your income is not going to go down. It's not going to stay the same. It's going to continue to grow because of the viral growth, because the consumer, you know, we're all genetically programmed. For example, if I go out and see some great movie with my wife or one of my good friends, and the next morning I run into one of my good friends at Starbucks, I'm going to tell them about that movie. I was, oh man, my wife and I went to see that movie last night. You got to go see it. It was just great. Or maybe I get to work and I talk to one of my colleagues. Oh, my wife and I went to see this movie last night. You got to go see it. It was great. That's just the way we're programmed. And the same thing will happen here. People will start to tell their friends, I bought this sweater at Macy's. I got 7.9% cash back on it. I got $35 back on my sweater. Or maybe I got $60 back on my shoes, or, you know, whatever the case may be. Or I got $23.66 last night cash back on my hotel stay in Atlanta. And so the viral growth will kick in, and your income will never start to drop. It's going to continue to go up. Plus, you got to remember, Dubli is going to continue to add more value to the portal for the average consumer. So we've got $19.20 per customer times your 5% override. That's only 96 cents. But you start to get a lot of customers, and it adds up. So this is a total of $5,529.60. That's the 480 times 12 times the 240 times 8% times 5% override is the $5,529.60. Well, let's look at the power of this partner program. Because remember what's happening. Each BA is sponsoring one partner program with 480 VIPs. And I think that's low. But, because after a year or 2 years, that could easily be a couple of thousand. But let's stick with this low number of 480 VIPs. So 480 VIPs every year spending $99 on their membership. You've got 12 BAs at 5%. That's the $28,512. You've got each BA is generating 96 cents to you each month on their average purchases in the mall. So 480 times 12 times 96 cents, that's $5,529.60 per month times 12 months is $66,355.20. Add the two together, that's $867.20. Now, the beautiful part about this is for most people, that's more than replacement income. That seriously increases your your retirement income in a dramatic fashion if you're close to retirement. Well, if you've got 12 BAs, because you've got to remember they're each getting 30 VIPs every month. 30 times 12 is 360. Now, that's the organizational customers. So you've got 360 times $99 times 5% is $1,782 per month. You've got 30 VIPs from the 12 BAs times 240. This is residual income. That's $26,956.80 per month. Your personal customers, because you're getting 30 VIPs every month, times $99 times 25%, because you always make a 25% commission on your personal customers, which is $1,342.50 on their memberships, plus the residual on your personal customers, again at 25%, is $11,232. That's a total monthly income of $41,313.30 times 12. That's $495,759.60. Add those two together, we're at $590,000 a year. Think about it. You did this with only 12 BAs in your organization, just 12. That's nothing. If you want to make that kind of money with any other company in this industry, you're going to have probably 1,800 to maybe 4,000 BAs or business associates or distributors or reps, whatever you want to call them. You're going to have about 4,000 under you to do that. Now, how did we get to this much money? We got to this much money because we went out and found some nonprofits who went out and got a lot of customers. We also helped our BAs that we brought into the business get on average about one VIP customer a day. I don't care how you get the one VIP customer a day. I don't care if you do a booth at maybe some convention or a booth at some annual fair or whatever it happens to be, or maybe you've got a blog, or maybe you go to your church and you start telling your friends about it. It just doesn't matter. However you can get those customers doesn't matter. But that's what happens. Now, this does not include your partner program. And remember this, I'm telling you from experience, if you get one partner program, whether it's with a church or a high school, you're going to get at least 4 or 5 more. So these numbers are pretty conservative. But if you add in just one partner program for yourself, assuming it's a local high school with 480 parents, that gets you to a total of $614,343.60 per year. Now, let me ask you a question. If that took you a year to do that, or 2 years, or 3 years, or maybe even 4 years, would it be worth it? And I think the answer is pretty obvious to all of us. Of course it'd be worth it to us, because this money's not going to go away. Because here's the reality. 99.9% of the customers in your organization, including your own customers, they don't know who you are. Now, you got to remember something in here. Have I assumed any viral growth with this? No. I assumed that over the course of a year, 480 parents started doing this. Now, let me ask you one other question to think about. If you get a local high school, and let's say you've got 80 parents who have seniors in the high school. Their kids are seniors, and they only have one child in that school. When that kid graduates at the end of the year and goes on to college or just goes get a job, whatever they're going to do, what is the likelihood that those parents will automatically just stop being a VIP customer. I mean, why would they do that? And the answer is they're not going to stop doing that. So what happens the next year? You've got another group of, let's say it's another 80 families that are sending their kids for the first time to that high school. They're going to listen to all the stories of the parents that are already VIP customers. They don't have to buy any cookie dough. They don't have to buy magazine subscriptions. They don't have to buy gift wrapping paper that they don't want. They're getting paid to participate in the fundraiser at high school. They don't know who you are. They never heard of you. So 99.9% of all the customers in this organization right here don't know that there's a business model behind this and don't care. All they care about is that they're getting paid to do all the same things they were going to do anyway. In other words, they're getting paid to participate in the fundraiser. Let me close out with this. As Ray Kroc said, you're in the right place at the right time, but do you recognize it? If you do, get back with the person that shared this video with you and get started today. My name is Alan Breen, and I want to thank you for your time.